Okay, I'm your grandmother, and I'm going to give you some advice. Don't take any wooden nickels. It means don't get involved with jackasses.
Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2019. I'm Gina, and welcome to my 6th episode of Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels. I actually had to go back and count. Like, how many of these have I done? I think it's 6. And this is the Christmas edition of Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels. I thought I would do like a movie review. Not just a movie review, but several different movies. Talk about some of my favorites, a few on Netflix that I love, ones that you're never going to believe I haven't seen. And when I tell you my least favorite Christmas movie of all time, you might say, we can't be friends anymore, Gina. I know, it's going to be shocking, and you're going to question everything in life after you hear this. It's all coming up on Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels. It is the Christmas edition of Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels on Christmas Eve 2019. Whew, how are you? I hope everything's going great. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. It's fun to go back and see where you're from. That's like my favorite new thing to do. Like, oh, someone in Sweden listened to my podcast. Oh, awesome. Someone in Alaska listened. I had a listener in Puerto Rico, one in Ireland. Somebody in Turkey was listening. And then, of course, Dayton, Chicago, Cincinnati, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It's just a lot of fun to see who's tuning in, and I appreciate all of you. And remember, follow me on Instagram at Gina Lola, and you can always shoot me a DM if you have any, input on this podcast or a past one. You have something you want to talk about or comment on. I love hearing it. So keep them coming. This one is going to be kind of a Christmas episode, I guess, Christmas movie episode, which I wish that I had my grandma on because she is the movie aficionado. I've had my mom and my dad on, but next, I promise, I will have grandma on eventually. Okay, she is, by the way, the one that does my intro and my outro. She's the one that defines what Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels means. So anyway, I want to talk about movies. Here are the movies on Netflix that I plan to watch, and after watching the trailers, I feel like, maybe you'd be interested in it too, so I'm going to share them. First is a Christmas movie with Rob Lowe and Kristen Davis. Kristen Davis, of course, was it Charlotte that she played on Sex and the City? And Rob Lowe is from right here in Dayton, Ohio, and he was just here over the summer too. Goes to Dragons games, Reds games. I met his brother, Chad Lowe, when he was here last, too, at the Dayton Dragons game. So, yeah, they've got a really nice presence here in Dayton, and their father, Chuck, still lives here, so it's kind of cool. But he's starring in a movie, and it's called Holiday Wild. You can find it on Netflix. Rob Lowe plays a pilot in Africa. It's a meet cute. Do you know what a meet cute is? Okay. A meet cute is when, you end up in a place that someone else ends up in a place for two different reasons, and you have what I want and I have what you want, and it's a meet cute. And that's the premise of most films. It's like most romantic comedies, a meet cute, and because it's cute. And that's what happens here. Kristen Davis ends up in Africa, and she's on her second honeymoon, and her new husband phones her and says, hey, enjoy our second honeymoon. I won't be showing up. I'm leaving you. So she's in Africa, obviously trying to sort out her life. And she meets Rob Lowe, and lo and behold, he is the pilot for one of the excursions that her and her soon-to-be ex-husband had already planned and paid for. So, of course, those two have a sudden romantic rendezvous, I guess, if you will, or adventure in Africa. And it's like a Christmas in Africa. And also her character is from New York City. So all the while, her friends are phoning her like, are you coming back for Christmas and New Year's? What are you doing? We need to go shopping. And she's like, I'm saving elephants in Africa. It's just really cute premise, I think. and I plan on watching it. So that is Holiday Wild. It's on Netflix. Another one is 3 years ago, I watched the first one, and it's called A Christmas Prince. Okay. A Christmas Prince is about this girl who's a journalist, and she gets sent on a story in Aldovia. And she's from America. She's from New York. Once again, New York City. And she gets sent to this little town because the soon-to-be king is missing. He has gone in hiding because he just wants to get out of the public's eye. Well, she works her way into the family, and lo and behold, this is a spoiler alert. The prince falls in love with her, obviously. Another meet cute on her hands. And it's such an adorable movie, though, because it's that unlikely story of every little girl's dream to be a princess or queen. And this character, of course, makes that happen with Richard Bevan Charlton, King of Aldovia. And, I mean, even that name is like a hot guy's name, Richard Bevan Charlton. Also, it seems very unrealistic, like it doesn't exist, and they made it up for a movie. It did so well that they came out with another one, which was called The Royal Wedding, and that was out last Christmas. Watch that, of course. And, you know, she's fighting against all of their traditions, and she doesn't want to wear the dress they want her to wear and all that stuff. So it's cute, though. Now, this year, I've seen both of those. I have not seen the third one. It is called A Christmas Prince, and then it's just simply called Baby, because they're going to have a baby, okay? This one is sort of two storylines tied into one. Yes, she's pregnant, and she's expecting, you know, the heir to the throne, but there's also a treaty that needs to be signed with Aldovia and another neighboring made-up country. And that king and queen come to Aldovia for Christmas, of course. But the two queens get together and say, why should we sign this treaty? It's 600 years old. It needs to be updated and modernized. Well, the treaty goes missing, and there is a curse. I hope you're still listening. Because it sounds like a really stupid movie when I'm saying it out loud. But boy, when I was watching the trailer, I thought, this looks really cute. Anyway, there's a curse. And now that the treaty's gone missing, if they don't recover the treaty and sign it by midnight on the certain day, the firstborn of the king and queen of Aldovia will be cursed. This is so stupid. And so that's the plot. The plot is to not only find the treaty that's gone missing, but also modify it and modernize it, and then sign it before midnight so that their poor unborn child isn't cursed, okay, before it's born. It's a whole thing. I haven't seen it yet. If you have, let me know, but I do plan on watching it. Okay. I have my list of must-watch Netflix films that I have seen, and one of them I already did tell you, which was A Christmas Prince. The first one, and the second one. But a must-watch, if you haven't already on Netflix, is Christmas Chronicles. Oh my gosh. It is starring Kurt Russell. He is Santa Claus. And I don't know what it is about this film, but it transcends every generation. My 87-year-old grandmother loves it. My mom and dad love it. My uncle loves it. I love it. Kids like it too. It's just so good. And it's been a while since a Christmas movie came out that wasn't like the one I just talked about, which is more to me like a Lifetime Hallmark Christmas movie. This one, A Christmas Chronicle, was very cinematic and as if it could have a debut in a theater. You know what I mean? It just was. It was shot different. It's just got like that film quality to it. So I haven't seen a Christmas movie come out like that I really loved in a long time. And I have good news too, because Christmas Chronicles came out in 2018. No sequel came out this year, but they are shooting Christmas Chronicles 2, and that's coming out in 2020, baby. I am so pumped for that. But if you haven't watched Christmas Chronicles, do yourself a favor. Enjoy. Watch it for Christmas. The third must-watch for Christmas Netflix films is The Princess Switch. The Princess Switch is starring Vanessa Hudgens. This is also going to be one of those films where I explain a bit of the plot and you go, wow, this sounds really stupid. But it's really cute when you watch it, I promise. So Vanessa Hudgens is a really good chef and baker. And she gets invited to be a part of some made-up country's big bake-off, okay? So, of course, she takes her little team and she goes. And when she's there, the queen, the soon-to-be queen of that country, looks exactly like her. In fact, I read a stupid article of someone asking if Vanessa Hudgens had, in real life, an identical twin sister that played this character. No, she does not. Vanessa Hudgens played both characters. It's like what Lindsay Lohan did in Parent Trap, or Haley Mills in the original Parent Trap. Guys, Vanessa Hudgens does not have an identical twin sister. But guess what happens? It's in the name. The Princess Switch. The princess, soon to be, wants to live a regular life, so she talks the baker into switching her place. And you soon find out that the princess to be really was never in love with the prince. She ends up falling in love, this is a spoiler alert, with Vanessa Hudgens, one of the guys on her baking team, and vice versa. The actual baker falls in love with the soon-to-be prince. And I just ruined it for you if you wanted to watch it, but it's so good. And you can still watch it and love it, and there's a bunch of surprises that I'm not telling you about. Oh, I just really enjoyed it. I mean, take it for what it is. It's obviously one of those Hallmark Lifetime style films, but I think you'll still really enjoy it. Okay, another great Christmas movie to watch on Netflix is called Christmas in the Smokies, like the Smoky Mountains. It's nestled in such a beautiful location. You're going to fall in love with that, first of all. But it's like a modern day Christmas classic storyline that we've seen in movies before. But this family is trying to save their historic berry farm because the bank is trying to take it away, and the daughter is just determined to make sure that doesn't happen. But the cute part about the film is that the daughter's former love had left the little town and went on to be a huge superstar in country music. Well, he comes back to town, and she orchestrates this whole thing to put on a Christmas concert fundraiser, which, of course, who sings at it? Her former boyfriend. And do they rekindle their love? That is the question. It's Christmas in the Smokies. And it's starring an actress that I quite love. Her name is Sarah Lancaster. And if you ever watched the TV show called Chuck, she played Chuck's sister. And I've just always loved her. She's so beautiful, and she does an adorable job in this film. Again, that one is Christmas in the Smokies. Okay. That concludes my list of must-watch films on Netflix. All right, now we're going to move on to my personal holiday movie favorites. And these are not actually at all Netflix films. These are just films, Christmas movies over the years that are my favorite. And I'm going to start with It's a Wonderful Life. Because here's my gauge on that one. Not only is it just a fantastic story in general, and if you haven't seen it, oh my God, watch it. But it's one of those films every Christmas season that if you are channel surfing and It's a Wonderful Life is on at any point during the movie, you suddenly are not going to change the channel. I'm not. It's just one of those movies that if it's on and you stumble on it, you just keep it on that channel till it's over. I love watching this movie every single holiday season. It's called The Polar Express with Tom Hanks. I had somebody the other day said I'd never even heard of it. It's just one of those really adorable, beautifully done animated films. And of course it's got a sweet message, but it's beautiful to watch. It's Tom Hanks' voice throughout the film, and he plays like the train conductor. It's just a story about still believing in Christmas and Santa Claus, and it's just so cute. My all-time favorite Christmas movie of all time. I mean, all time. I will watch this 3 or 4 times over Christmas. It is called The Holiday. And it stars Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black. It is so good, okay? There's another fantastic actor in this film as well, and his name is Eli Wallach. I think that's how you'd pronounce it. Maybe Wallach. Eli plays Arthur in this movie, and he's like a 90-something-year-old man, and it's just, his character's so sweet. But he passed away a couple years ago, and when you see somebody in a movie for the first time, you think, oh, that's their first movie. You just think that that's the first time they've ever been presented to you, and you don't realize they've had a whole career in making movies or whatever it might be. So I look up Eli. Not only did he do films with Marilyn Monroe, yes, he starred opposite Marilyn Monroe, he did spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. This dude has been acting for years. What an amazing life he's had in Hollywood and acting. I mean, from the 1950s on. So it's just so cool for me to go back and look at someone's resume and see what kind of work they've done. But the premise of this film, which came out in 2006, called The Holiday, Cameron Diaz lives in LA, Kate Winslet lives in England. The two of them get on some like online service where you can switch homes. So that's what they do. They switch homes for the holiday. Kate Winslet goes to LA, Cameron Diaz goes to England. Of course, both leading very different lives. The LA home is this humongous mansion with a swimming pool and automatic blinds that roll down the windows when you hit the remote. And then in England, it's this beautiful cottage nestled in snow and a little fireplace, a tiny clawfoot bathtub, and oh, it's just so cute. Cameron Diaz, of course, ends up in England, and in this little cottage, she meets Kate Winslet's brother, played by Jude Law. And they've got a love story going on in England, while Kate Winslet meets Jack Black in LA, and it's just such a cute story, and you have to watch it. It literally is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I love it, and I'm so glad they made it, and I'll watch it every Christmas. Oh, another one, I can't believe I forgot this. This is another one that falls in the It's a Wonderful Life category, that if I stumble on it on TV, I'll just keep it on this film, and it's Home Alone. Obviously. I actually judged a costume contest a couple weeks ago, and there were different categories, and one of the categories was, like for the costume contest, was duos, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, or whatever. Anyway, this one entry, which ended up winning, were Harry and Marv from Home Alone, and they did it so good. Marv had the the iron imprint on his face. Harry was covered in feathers, and his scalp was like burnt off. Oh, it was just such a creative, great costume. I can't believe I've never seen anyone else do that before. But it was really cute. Question: is it just me, or has it bothered you too for the last 25 years? Because this has bugged me like you wouldn't believe. Every time I see Home Alone, this drives me insane. Kevin never takes a bite of his macaroni and cheese. Why? He's got the whole house ready to sabotage the soon-to-be intruders, Harry and Marv. And then he sits down for a delicious meal with a glass of milk poured in a wine glass, of course, and a dish of macaroni and cheese, which, by the way, I think he makes like Kraft macaroni and cheese. I don't know how he made it look so good, first of all. So why wouldn't you take a bite? Like, I hope that when they said cut, that he, after they got that shot, you know, that he went back and ate that. Because I've never seen anything that good at craft services. It's like every time I watch Home Alone, I think this time he's going to take a bite of the mac and cheese. Like, this time, this will be it. No, he still hasn't. Also, did you ever figure out, like, which kids are whose? I've never been able to. The only one I know is Kevin's older brother, who's a jerk. That's his brother. Okay, I know that. But all the other kids running around the house, the girls, Fuller, I don't know who's who. Which ones belong to the stingy uncle? Are they all cousins? Are some of them the kids of the brother that's in Paris? I don't know. It's so confusing. And it's funny how it's almost irrelevant to the storyline. Like, we don't really need to know, but I've always just wanted to know. I guess I could Google it. But it's just one of those things that has boggled my mind. Okay. This is the category of my podcast. You might turn it off and say, Gina, we can never be friends again. Because you are going to be shocked, appalled, disgusted. And I know this because I've said it to people in person and they've been like, oh my God, why? That's the best Christmas movie I've ever seen. I know that I will offend some people with this, or you'll just be like, if you don't like that movie, how can we even be friends anymore? And that's fine. I don't know why I can't stand it, but my first one is Elf. I know. It's such a stupid movie. I mean, the premise alone, like, he's a grown adult with elves. Like, how did he not realize sooner that he didn't belong there? I can't even elaborate on it because you know it's dumb. And I don't even think that some of the jokes in it are funny. And I used to love Will Ferrell. I think that's part of it. I used to love Will Ferrell. Now I don't find him as funny. And that might be playing into it. It's just like, okay, we've seen this character before. Now you're just wearing an elf costume. I don't know. Don't hate me too much, especially after I tell you my last Christmas movie that I just don't find that funny. I won't say that I hate this one because there are some parts that made me laugh, but overall, I just found it so stupid. And it's Christmas Vacation. I know, my God, don't turn me off. When he has that ordeal turning his lights on and the plug keeps unplugging and he can't get the light, it's just, to me, I find that so frustrating. Like, it's not funny. It's like this self-deprecating quality where he's always messing up and you like him because of that. I like for the lead character to be like Kevin in Home Alone, where he's just kicking ass. I think that's why I don't like it, because I get frustrated with the premise. I know it all ends up okay, but still. That's one I might give another shot, another chance, but I'm not hopeful, okay? And it's funny, too, because I hadn't seen Christmas Vacation till maybe 2 years ago, and it's because of my former co-hosts, and they were just so shocked and appalled that I hadn't seen it. And so I finally watched it, and I was like, I don't get the hype. And then that caused a whole nother discussion. So my final list, these are Christmas movies I can't believe that I've never seen. My first one, this is number one. I have never seen Miracle on 34th Street. I've heard people talk about it. I have no idea what the premise is, other than there must be a miracle on 34th Street, which I'm guessing might be in New York City. I don't know. I've never seen it. Also never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim Burton, like, animated film. I don't do scary movies very well, and just in the title alone, I'm like, will I be scared? Is it scary? Will it give me a nightmare? I'm just going to pass. And this one is going to shock you. I have never seen from start to finish. I've seen bits and pieces, okay? I've seen some of the favorite scenes, like the most iconic scenes. But I've never seen it from start to finish, and that's A Christmas Story. I know! I've seen him come down the stairs in the rabbit costume. I know that there's the leg lamp. I've seen him, get his tongue stuck to the pole. But that's it. Otherwise, I don't know the premise of the film. I guess, is it Christmas in the 50s or 60s? That's it. I know. It's so weird that I've never seen it. Because I know so many people that would be on their favorite Christmas movie list. And I hope that you'll go watch some of those films that I suggested, or maybe if you haven't seen some of my all-time favorite films, you'll get to watch those over Christmas season 2. And the ones I don't like, maybe I'll give another shot this year. There's always Christmas miracles, right? There's always a chance. But I'm not going to promise anything. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow me on Instagram at Gina Lola. Shoot me a message. Have any questions, comments about my podcast? I love it. And I love to know where you're from, too. And also, if you have time, rate my podcast. And don't rate it based on which Christmas movies I don't like. Because then I'm going to get a lot of ones and zeros. I know that. Have a great Christmas. And I will hopefully talk to you next Tuesday on Don't Take Any Wooden Nickels with me, Gina Ferraro.
This is Grandma Marie. With the help of God, I'll see you next week. Take care and know that I love you. And what?
And that's it.